Good morning, good morning. This is Glenn Andrews coming from Hiram, Georgia. It is Good Friday. You know what it is. It's Heroes and Kings as usual. It's always Heroes and Kings. One day soon, I'll break that all down and why I chose the words Heroes and Kings. And it's metaphorical, it's symbolic. It has something that challenges the stereotypes and the narrative. So there's many words in the dictionary and thesaurus where this world try to take a simple word and make it mean something else. And so in doing some research and some investigation and just reading, I know when you say hero and when you say king, there's just no way you can place a negative on it. So what I want to drop on y'all today, and it's something that's really been on my mind for several years. And this is my opinion. Glenn Andrews will be 58 this year. This is my opinion. And I'm gonna break it down like this. The last couple of years, watching the news, watching social media, they keep saying African Americans is suffering from PTSD and slave mentality dysfunction and all these other types of mental psychosis. And that may be possible for some people, but that ain't possible for all. The second thing that there's this word called necromancy. Look that up. And it has something to do with death and celebrating how death takes place. I'm not suffering from no PTSD. I'm just not. I'm not suffering from anything that our ancestors dealt with other than we're not manifesting what we should be manifesting because we've been blocked by racism. That's the only thing that has any kind of influence or steering of how we, me, or any other person should move. And the one thing I say about I don't have no PTSD. I sleep good at night and I have no fear. I believe in God, so I have no fear whatsoever. So for all these folks, including African American folks who call themselves psychologists, doctors, whatever the case may be, to keep rolling this narrative, if there's some individuals who need need a psychologist, psychiatrist, I understand that. I know there's mental health challenges, but the mental health challenges is not because of melanin. It ain't PTSD to deal with what we have to deal with every day. What we're dealing with is racism, period. Not some psychosis, not craziness, not this, not that. And I'll tell you this is another thought I had about racism. To me, racism is like rain. It's like rain. And so when it's raining, you still have to go to work. You're going to get a little bit of wet. You're going to get wet. Your car going to get wet. You might get your shoes wet. The water's going to hit you. When it's raining and you go outside, the rain's going to hit you. You can get you an umbrella. You can get you a rain jacket. You do whatever you have to do to keep it moving while it's getting wet. Because not only do racism affect the victim, it affects the racist because it's an inferiority complex. So my approach and my thought process to racism has always been, if you're in my way, I'm going to go around you, I'm going to go over you, or I'm going to go through you. I'm going to go through you. I'm not going to go under you. I'm going to go through you, around you, or over you. But I'm not going to let you stop me. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing to fear. There's flesh, bone, and blood. That's all it is. Then there's these superstitions about the black cat crossing the street and don't walk up under a ladder. See, I don't believe in none of those superstitions. Because somebody need to tell me who they is, who created this superstition, why. Break it down for me. Break it down through the scientific hypothesis of why when you're driving down the street and you see a black cat, you're supposed to be all afraid. Nah, I don't believe in none of your superstitions. I believe in God and nothing else. And so this idea of us having PTSD or some black man having PTSD, nah, I'm not suffering from anything. I may not sleep enough, but I sleep well because I don't have no fear. And it's not because I'm a tough guy, it's because I'm smart. I'm gonna say that again. It's not because I'm a tough guy, it's because I'm smart. I've been reading books, I've been reading the numbers, I've been doing the math, I've been doing English, I've been learning other languages, I've been reading Shakespeare, Voltaire, Steinbeck, Edgar Allan Poe. Then I got into all the Carter G. Woodsons and the Malcolm X and the 5% Nation of God's and Earth. So it's not that I'm a tough guy, I'm just smart. And that's what we need to be teaching our folks, especially teaching young black men. Yeah, take care of yourself. Me and all this stuff I do with training and take care of myself and teaching folks how to take care of their body, it's coming from the mind. It's teaching them how to be smart. Because when you do that part of it, then you decide what you want to do. You decide the moves you want to make. And when you come up to foolishness, you're prepared for it. So this idea of PTSD, be done with that. Be done with that. Those folks who have mental issues, I just saw this situation in Texas. I was listening to a local radio station. They brought it up. They said what happened. And as I was listening to it, they kind of went to the details, had a commercial, had a couple of songs. Then they came back to it, and they just start marinating in it for another 2 or 3 hours, with tears and emotion and what we gonna do and how we gonna do this, and just kind of carried it on to a million listeners for the next 3 hours. We got to stop doing that. We definitely got to report the news, that folks know what's going on around the world, but then it's action after that. It's not marinating in the emotion of fear and woe is me, because I wasn't raised like that. That ain't my personality, and it may be just me, and I'll accept that, but that's just my opinion. I'm not woe is me. I don't walk around with my hands in my pocket when there's stuff that need to get done. So I want to put that on y'all, see what y'all think about that. I'm just not with that stuff. We're suffering from this major thing called PTSD. Nah, what we're suffering from has been systemic racism, no more, no less. And even systemic racism has always been the elephant in the room in every niche, organization, space, place on this planet. You got to figure out a way how to get through it, get around it, get over it, but don't go under it. Don't go under it. This is Glenn Andrews, Heels and Kings, 10 Toes Down. Good Friday to you. I ain't suffering from no PTSD, no fear. Bone, blood, and flesh. That's all a human being is. So forget about all the boogeymans and all this other stuff that supposedly happens out here in this world, because I ain't the one. We ain't the one. Acapulans, 10 Toes Down.